Who was Melchizedek? A name shrouded in mystery, a figure veiled in the mists of time. He appears in the biblical narrative only briefly, yet his impact reverberates through the corridors of theological thought and biblical scholarship. Mentioned in the book of Genesis, the Psalms, and the New Testament's epistle to the Hebrews, Melchizedek's presence is like a whisper of divine mystery, inviting us to delve deeper into the sacred texts to understand his role as both priest and king. In the ancient world, it was rare for a single individual to hold both the spiritual and temporal power vested in the dual titles of priest and king. Yet Melchizedek embodies this duality. He is introduced in Genesis 14:18-20 as the king of Salem and priest of God Most High. This brief encounter occurs when he meets Abraham, the patriarch of the Israelites, returning from victory over a coalition of kings. Melchizedek offers bread and wine and blesses Abraham in the name of God Most High, El Elyon, acknowledging the divine source of Abraham's triumph. The city of Salem, over which Melchizedek reigned, is traditionally associated with Jerusalem. This connection is not merely geographical, but deeply symbolic, linking Melchizedek to a city that would become central to Jewish, Christian, and Islamic faiths. The dual role of Melchizedek as both priest and king in Salem suggests a model of unified sacred and secular authority, a concept that resonates through the history of the city that would later house the Temple of Solomon. The title King of Salem is itself intriguing, as Salem is derived from the Hebrew word shalom, meaning peace. Thus, Melchizedek is the king of peace, an epithet that carries profound theological implications. In a world often torn by conflict, the notion of a ruler whose reign is characterized by peace is both compelling and aspirational. Melchizedek's appearance to bless Abraham underscores a divine endorsement of peace and prosperity, foreshadowing themes that would echo throughout biblical history. The meeting between Melchizedek and Abraham is laden with symbolism and significance. Melchizedek's offering of bread and wine is seen by many Christian theologians as a prefiguration of the Eucharist, the sacrament of communion. This interpretation gains further weight when we consider that Melchizedek's priesthood is invoked in the New Testament as a precursor to the priesthood of Jesus Christ. This connection is made explicit in the epistle to the Hebrews, which presents Christ as a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. Furthermore, Abraham's response to Melchizedek is equally significant. He gives Melchizedek a tenth of everything, the first recorded instance of tithing in the Bible. This act of giving a tithe acknowledges Melchizedek's superior spiritual status and reinforces his role as a high priest of God Most High. The practice of tithing, deeply embedded in Jewish and Christian traditions, can trace its origins back to this pivotal moment, underscoring the enduring influence of Melchizedek's brief biblical appearance. Melchizedek's enigmatic legacy is further explored in the Psalms, specifically in Psalm 110. This psalm, attributed to King David, prophesies of a future ruler who will be a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. This verse has been the subject of extensive theological reflection, particularly within Christian thought, where it is often interpreted as a messianic prophecy. The merging of royal and priestly roles in this future figure echoes the dual office held by Melchizedek, suggesting a continuity of divine purpose and authority. The reference in Psalm 110 also elevates the significance of Melchizedek's priesthood beyond a historical context, positioning it as a timeless and divinely ordained order. This perspective reinforces the idea that Melchizedek's priesthood transcends the Levitical priesthood established under Mosaic law, suggesting a more ancient and enduring covenant with God. Beyond the biblical texts, Melchizedek has captured the imagination of various mystical and esoteric traditions. In Jewish mysticism, he is sometimes identified with figures like Shem, the son of Noah, or even with Enoch, who was taken by God. These interpretations highlight Melchizedek's perceived role as a timeless intermediary between the divine and human realms. In Gnostic writings, Melchizedek is sometimes elevated to the status of a celestial being, a spiritual archetype representing enlightened knowledge and divine wisdom. These interpretations, while not canonical, underscore the profound and varied impact Melchizedek has had across different religious and philosophical traditions. The New Testament provides a deeper theological insight into Melchizedek's significance, particularly in the Epistle to the Hebrews. Here, Melchizedek is presented as a Christ-like figure, one whose priesthood is eternal and unbounded by earthly lineage. Hebrews 7 elaborates on the superiority of Melchizedek's priesthood over the Levitical order, emphasizing that he is without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life. This portrayal of Melchizedek as an eternal priest sets the stage for understanding Christ's own priesthood, which is characterized by an eternal and perfect mediation between God and humanity. By aligning Jesus with the order of Melchizedek, the author of Hebrews underscores the continuity and fulfillment of God's salvific plan from the ancient days of Abraham to the advent of Christ. The legacy of Melchizedek is one that transcends the brief mentions in Scripture, touching upon profound themes of divine authority, eternal priesthood, and the unity of spiritual and temporal power. His figure serves as a bridge between the Old and New Testaments, linking the patriarchal narratives with the messianic hopes realized in the life and ministry of Jesus. Melchizedek's role as king of Salem and priest of God Most High invites us to reflect on the nature of true leadership, one that embodies peace, justice, and divine wisdom. His mysterious presence in the biblical narrative challenges us to seek deeper understanding and to appreciate the hidden threads of connection woven throughout the sacred texts. In conclusion, Melchizedek remains an enigmatic yet profoundly significant figure within the biblical tradition. His brief but impactful appearances in Scripture invite ongoing exploration and reflection, offering insights into the eternal nature of God's covenant with humanity. As we ponder the mysteries surrounding Melchizedek, we are reminded of the richness and depth of the biblical narrative and the enduring power of its teachings. If you've found this exploration of Melchizedek intriguing, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the fascinating figures of the Bible. Your support helps us continue to bring you insightful and engaging content. Thank you for watching.